CMB. CMB. Man, we all we got.
The Afternoon Drive. Sports Radio 101.9 FM and Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
It is 2:03 on the Fan, and it is the Afternoon Drive with Carlin, Maggie, and Bart at 877-337-6666. Coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios. Maggie Gray, Bart Scott, Chris Carlin. Mags, what's up?
Oh, just ready to get into this new year, new time slot, new everything. Although maybe same old problems for the Jets and maybe some new problems for the Giants.
And we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. And good to see you, fella. What's going on?
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. The preseason is over now. It counts. It's for real.
It does.
Wait, were we not getting paid for those shows?
I think you better check the account.
Okay.
But nonetheless,
you had your signing bonus in the break room today. So we know you got paid.
I'm walking around with a stack of hundreds like some kind of loser. Anyone, please come down to the station and rob me immediately.
Well, we are obviously excited to get going today, but we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge who we're following. And Mike sat in his seat for 30 years. And he and Chris made this time slot what it is, which is the premier piece of real estate in sports media in this city and sports radio in this country. And nobody replaces Mike Francesa. He is an incredible talent who helped carry this radio station for a long time. And none of us would be here doing this if not for what he accomplished. And look, we're coming in. We're not trying to be Mike. We're not trying to copy him in any way because you can't. We're just trying to carry on the tradition of excellence that has been established in our own way. We're going to live and breathe New York sports with you. We're going to ask the questions that you want asked, and we're going to get to know you. You're going to get to know us, and hopefully we'll have a few laughs along the way. So, look, we obviously owe a huge debt of gratitude to Mike, to Chris for setting the bar ridiculously high,
and raising the salary cap.
Yeah, well, that's
let's put that out there.
Wait, there's a cap?
Oh,
no.
I need to talk to your agent. But as for now, let's get after it and get right into it. And where we're starting is with the Giants. Dave Gettleman's going to join us at 3 today. Of course, Eli Manning at 5 o'clock. And I got to tell you, as I am looking at this list of candidates that they have requested permission to interview for their head coaching position, I am not excited by one of them right now. Not in the least. I could not be less excited about Jim Schwartz. I'm actively against Jim Schwartz. I'm actively against the Patriots and their assistants because the Bill Belichick disciples have not done anything in the league over the years. I don't see anybody right now that jumps out, Maggie, that I got to feel like, they're going to be in good hands here. I got guys I'd like to see in the mix, but I just don't see it at the moment.
Well, especially because we're seeing that the Giants are likely going to want to go with someone who's well-established, or at least that's the sort of drips and drabs of information that we're getting out. Obviously, we're going to talk to Dave Gettleman. We can ask him ourselves.
So recycling? They're recycling.
Well, they want someone who, you know this, Bart, if you go into a locker room, especially one that had dysfunction in it, like the Giants from just this past season, need someone who's going to command respect immediately. And how are you going to do that? For me, yes, Pat Shurmur, the Vikings offensive coordinator, people like that can be very appealing. You're shaking your head at me right now. You don't think that they have the gravitas to come into a locker room. So if I'm the Giants, then I'm looking at someone who has a track record, somebody who we all know. We don't have to look up and Google where they're coaching right now to figure out what kind of coach they're going to be. And with that in mind, I'm with Carlin. I don't see anyone that's really inspiring on this list. I don't see that home run hire that I think the Giants are looking for.
Well, when the Baltimore Ravens brought in, John Harbaugh, it wasn't a splash. He was a special team coach, but he turned out to be a pretty solid coach. I think the Giants need to find somebody who are able to, because they spent $200 million on their defense. So no matter what, the defense isn't a hard fix. They have the personnel, they have the talent. They're going to be bringing in a young quarterback, whether they want to admit it or not. They're going to be trying to groom a young quarterback, the heir apparent to Eli Manning. They need an offensive guy. And, I'm not a fan of him because he was part of my hated rivals, but Josh McDaniels, I think, fits the bill. Now, the question would be, and I would love to talk to Gettleman, I can't wait till we talk to him, can they play in the same sandbox? Because Josh McDaniels is a big, you talk about recycling. He was a head coach before. He fell flat on his face. But you learn a lot from your second opportunities. What I like about Josh McDaniels is he's won with different personnel. He's not a cookie-cutter offense. He's not a guy that needs 3 great receivers or a tremendous running back.
But they all had Brady.
Yeah,
Doesn't that matter a lot?
They all had Brady, but it's all about play design and making sure that they're always on the cutting edge.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the problem for me with these Belichick assistants, okay? They all go places,
Yep.
and they all try to be Bill Belichick.
Yep.
And it never works. It never works. Look at this number. I went through this yesterday. Combined record of Belichick assistants who have gone on to coaching either in college or in the NFL since the New England days, I'm counting.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien, McDaniels, Mangini, Crennel, Charlie Weiss. 159 and 210. That's 430 winning percentage. This is a pass for me if I'm the Giants. Now, I am with you on one thing. It's clear, even though I personally am not 100% sold on any of the quarterbacks right now, that they are taking a quarterback with that second pick. And if that's the case, I've got to have a head coach that is going to be someone that is going to be able to nurse that guy along and get him ready.
Well, they thought that was what McAdoo was going to come in and continue this good offense, and he was going to continue and find the heir apparent.
Eli kind of fought for him, too.
Hold on. Can I actually throw a little cold water on this Belichick thing? There's one name in there that you're forgetting. Saban. I know that he didn't do well in the pros. I know, but does it not count? Is he not part of the tree? The tree's only got so many limbs.
I'm going from the guys that make it more convenient for me.
Yeah.
But I'm going from the guys, primarily that have come out of the success of New England.
Sure. Okay.
And that was
not
kind of my
anyone who was
thought
just
about it.
with him at some point. Because they were together in Cleveland. You know, Phil Savage wrote the book about the way that they find the fours and turn them into sixes. Exactly.
Ozzie Newsome and all those guys come from his tree. I tell you what, I like Josh McDaniels. He's young enough to recover. The other guys are old. I think Josh McDaniels still there in touch. He still can communicate. Now, has he learned the lessons that he learned from Denver? Can he communicate? Because you can't come in and be Bill Belichick, because you can be Bill Belichick because you have Tom Brady. Can he come in, demand that locker room? I think he has the street cred. He has the Super Bowls to show for it. You know, I think he can come in and really move this offense forward. With that being said, who can he bring? And when you talk about hiring a head coach, you have to ask yourself, who can they get to join their staff? And that's got to be the most important question.
Well, this is the thing to me. I'm going to 2 guys that have right now had massive influences on the 2 young best quarterbacks in the league at the young age. Not best overall, but in Wentz and in Jared Goff. I mean, last year, none of us thought Jared Goff was going to be able to do a damn thing. And he came around in his second year. It was great. And I don't think it was just McVay. I think it's his OC. I think it's Matt LaFleur, who's a guy that hasn't come up a lot. But I think he's somebody worth talking about.
Well, let's be honest. They're also rushing to the line of scrimmage for a young quarterback so that the coaches can read the defense for him and then give in the adjustments, which is just brilliant. I don't know why more teams aren't doing that.
Yeah, listen, it's smart, but at the same time, I trust what they've done with him. He's been productive enough. With Wentz, John DeFilippo has done the same thing. They have these are, and I'm not saying that these are guys that are definitively going to be great head coaches, but I look at the rest of this list. Jim freaking Schwartz.
Wow.
Jim Schwartz is a jackass, number 1. Number 2, he was 29.
Hey, that was on the list.
It wasn't on the list. No.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's okay. 29 and 51 in Detroit. 29 and 51.
No, and what makes that even worse is how much talent they had.
Oh, my God. He had Matt Stafford. He had Ndamukong Suh. He had Calvin Johnson.
Cliff Averill,
and they had 1 winning season and 1 playoff game, which they lost. And we're talking about Jim Schwartz because of what's going on down in Philly, who, by the way, they gave him a ton of talent to work with down in Philly.
Yeah, well, he was good for the Bills, too, for a season. But again, very talented. But that's the thing. The Giants do have a talented defense. Are we not seeing that there are the pieces here? I mean, they really are discombobulated. They are out of sorts. You can't have 3 of your cornerbacks being suspended for games at different times in the season. I mean, the entire season is just a complete wash. But there are pieces on the Giants defense. Bart, you mentioned they invested the money.
Right, they invested the money, but the thing is, it's about the offense. The offense can't get past the 20-point mark every game. They need to find somebody that can put points on the board. You want to improve your defense, you want your defense to play at a high level, put points on the board so they can pin their ears back and make offenses one-dimensional. That's why I say you got to go with McDaniels. And who can you bring in? Who can he bring in to run that defense? Because that defense should be able to be self-sufficient. They have enough veteran leadership over there. They have enough talent over there, and they've invested a lot of money over there. That should be able to take care of itself. How can we get this offense, this offensive line, this run game going? How can we be creative with the personnel that we have because we don't have a lot of cap space? How can we get somebody that can be innovative, that can push the offense into the future?
See, that's why I like Shermer as a potential. I'm not advocating for him to get the job. I'm just saying that in Minnesota, it's quarterback roulette out there. They make Case Keenum into a serviceable quarterback, and now with the Eagles faltering, it looks like they could be a legit NFC Championship winner. And then they lost their best running back, and they were still able to put up a ground assault. Dalvin Cook looked like he was going to be the offensive rookie of the year, and they were able to make do with it. Like I said, I'm not advocating because none of these prospects really are making me feel good, but you have to start sifting through and try to find the things you like about some of these guys.
Who do you want coaching the Giants? 877-337-6666. We're getting to the calls right out of the gate. In just a little while, we will talk about that very question with Dave Gettleman, the Giants' new general manager, Eli Manning. Later in the show, we're coming to you live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.